Good morning, everybody. Jesse Montano. It's Monday. It is definitely a Monday morning here at Guerilla Sports, July 22nd. It's Olympics week. We've been talking about it leading up, saying we're excited for it to get here. Well, it's here. It's upon us. The first events kick off in just 48 hours. We're going to get into what you guys can expect for the Olympics this week in terms of schedule of events as we get things going. We're going to talk about that. We'll, of course, give a torch update here at the end of the show. We're going to get into a little bit more of the specifics in terms of athletes, some interesting athlete stories coming out this week. The USA has picked their flag bearer for the opening ceremonies. We'll talk a little bit about the opening ceremonies. And then we will also touch very briefly a little bit on what's going on with the NFL this week. I'm really much looking forward to the Olympics. That's probably where we'll spend a lot of our time here again today. Is again, we have the lead up to the Olympics. And you know what? I'm going to immediately go off script. We were talking this morning, not long before we went live, about how the Olympics just seemed to be different when I was younger. They just seemed to mean a little bit more. They just seemed to have a little bit more buzz. And we were just trying to, we were talking about what has changed, what's been the cause of that. And, it's funny because I think there's maybe a situation where it's social media. We have so much access to information that seeing these athletes come together every 4 years, we've been watching them train. We've been watching amazing videos. We have all kinds of access to highlights and, again, just information more so than ever. Maybe it's the fact that streaming platforms have become as dominant as they have. There's so much to watch away from live TV now. There's so many viewing options where you don't need to be dialed into, primetime television, anything like that. As we're I remember growing up, you were constantly being advertised to for the Olympics, constantly, seeing the buildup and the hype. And I remember the Usain Bolt races were must-see TV. When Michael Phelps went on his unbelievable run, by the time he was getting near the end, if you weren't sitting in front of your TV, you were very much on the out in terms of what was going on in sports that day, that week. And it's just so funny because it just doesn't feel like the Olympics get the same not attention, because it's more than that, because plenty of people talk about the Olympics. There's just not the same buzz. I guess that's maybe the best word that I can use. There's not the buzz. There's not the excitement that there maybe once was. But I think there should be. I think that we don't fully have the appreciation for these athletes and these sports. And we kind of look at them as who pays attention to track and field? Who pays attention to water polo, which, by the way, is one of the craziest sports of all time. The endurance needed to play water polo is crazy. Beside the point, they're niche sports. They feel like kind of smaller afterthoughts. And I think it maybe takes away some people's appreciation for the level of athlete that these athletes, you guys know I hate doing that. I hate using the same word back to back. How amazing these athletes are. And I just hope that this year, I think Paris has done a lot of really good things with the games. I think they've done their best to mitigate some of the traditional, negative feedback maybe that you hear about the Olympics. I'm excited. I hope they can make a big deal out of it. And I hope that we have a successful Olympic Games, because I do. I think this is something special that we get to watch. I don't think it should be taken for granted. And I think you get to see some amazing athletes who work their entire lives to get here and are willing to sacrifice everything. And that is something that we are absolutely going to talk about here in a little bit. The sacrifices that athletes are willing to make. But I do want to start briefly by talking about Todd Helton finally getting inducted to the National Baseball Hall of Fame this past weekend. It was a great weekend for Todd Helton, for Colorado Rocky fans, for a fan base that is always looking for something to celebrate, always in need of a couple of wins. It was nice to see Todd Helton get the recognition he deserves after having a career that didn't include the team's success, that maybe you historically see with players going into the Hall of Fame in their respective sports. It's usually these extremely decorated, multi-time champs, multi-time, medal winners, whatever. Todd Helton was just the sign of consistency, the beacon of consistency throughout his entire career. I remember when Todd Helton's career was winding down and there was a lot of chatter around, does it make sense for the Rockies to move on from Todd Helton and let him go chase a World Series somewhere else? And I remember having a lot of respect for the fact that he didn't want to do that. That he saw himself as a Rocky and that he wanted to make it work here. Those are the types of players that I think are truly the ones who build a legacy and cement it with individual teams, within leagues, within sports, whatever. The ones who say, I'm going to overcome my circumstances and I'm going to be part of the solution. Now, what I'm not saying is that players shouldn't exercise their right to go out and be a free agent and test the market and, get the money that they're worth. And look, winning a championship does mean something. I wouldn't have criticized Todd Helton at all if he wanted to go out and chase a World Series, especially given the state of the Colorado Rockies, really even for the entire time that he was here in Denver. There were a couple small flashes of great moments that it was great that Todd Helton got to be a part of, but there was nothing for real success, let alone sustained success at Coors Field. But he was someone who constantly said, I want to be part of the solution. And I want to try to make things better here. And I want to win with this group because it means more to win with this group than to go chase it somewhere else. I have the utmost respect for a guy like Todd Helton, for him to be able to accomplish what he accomplished in his career while playing for a team that has never prioritized team success, that has never gone out and built a team capable or with the goal of competing. Big congratulations to Todd Helton. Joins Larry Walker, who went into the Hall of Fame just a couple of years ago, also as a Colorado Rocky. So now Rockies fans have a couple inductees that they can go see at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Three other inductees honored this past weekend. Adrian Beltre, third baseman. Jim Leland, manager for the Detroit Tigers. And then Joe Mauer, the catcher, all part of the 2024 Hall of Fame class, along with Todd Helton. Congratulations to all of them. Let's pause real fast because I want to have this conversation just real quick. At my last job, we had the conversation. We were doing a show surrounding the Hockey Hall of Fame. And I believe this was 2 years ago now. I believe it was 2 years ago. And we were having the conversation around qualifications. Who should be getting in? Because it seems now that there's a lot of players that go into the Hall of Fame that are very good. We're very good players. Maybe even great players. But were they all-time great players? All-time great contributors to the game, builders, managers, whatever what have you? I don't know. And, you always hear the question of, is it the Hall of Fame or is it the Hall of Very Good? Because there's several arguments to be made recently that it's just the Hall of Very Good. I made the suggestion, people didn't like it, that the leagues should have their own Hall of Fame. In addition to the National Baseball Hall of Fame, the Hockey Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame. I think having an NHL Hall of Fame, an MLB Hall of Fame, an NBA Hall of Fame, I think that solves your problem. Because there's a lot of players that you see in these pro leagues who are, again, great players, potentially even elite level players in terms of their talent, their skill, their ability. And they should be honored for what they achieved at the highest level. But are they all-time great players? All-time great that encompasses international play, Olympic competition, various other leagues from around the world. That to me, like that's the best of the best of the best. Go to your National Hall of Fame or your International Hall of Fame. If you're the NHL, or excuse me, if you're hockey. So I don't know. That's maybe my solution for it. If you're someone who increasingly finds yourself having more and more of an issue with some of the players and some of the, the inductees into the various Hall of Fame, saying, man, do they really deserve to be at the very tippy top? That's been my suggestion. Create your league-based Hall of Fames, and you can put all kinds of players there. Yeah, this is one of the best players in the history of our league. Not one of the greatest of all time to contribute to the sport. Congratulations to all 4 2024 National Baseball Hall of Fame inductees. Always an exciting time for fan bases, those players themselves, and of course their families. This is like the 3rd show in a row where I feel like I'm just fighting off a sneeze. I'm just fighting it off. But we battle here. We battle here at Guerilla Sports. Before we move on, big shout out to our guy Troy Rank over at the Denver Post. Came down, hung out with us on Friday last week. Put a nice feature in the Denver Post Sunday edition about us, what we got going here at Guerilla Sports. Former Denver Bronco, current Cleveland Brown, Shelby Harris, part of what we got going on here at Guerilla Sports. You can head on over to my page, the Guerilla Sports, various social channels. We got it linked up to the article on Denver Post. If you want to know a little bit more about what we are doing here at Guerilla Sports, the team that we're building, and some of the folks that are involved, head on over. Check that out. Like I said, big shout out to our guy, Troy Rank. Very briefly, because we are about to talk so much NFL and Broncos on this channel that I'm going to keep it brief. NFL training camps open this week. Mandatory reporting for rookies and veterans will be in full effect by the end of the week. Media will be out at Dove Valley starting on Friday. It's here, folks. We've talked about it. We talked about it tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day. We got to make it through. You got WNBA on break. MLB just resumed from their All-Star break yesterday. NBA off-season. NHL off-season. And then NFL is what we're talking about. I was going to keep going there. You get the point, folks. The Open wrapped up yesterday. It's very quiet. Very quiet on the sports scene. Today, tomorrow. Starting Wednesday, we got Olympics kicking off. Friday, we got opening ceremonies. And Friday is the official open, the official open of NFL training camps. Very much looking forward to getting all of that going and getting us out of this lull of the summer and getting us into summer sports, lead up to the NFL season. Then before you know it, it's going to be fall. NFL will be kicking off, then NHL and NBA will be following right after, and we are right back in the swing of things. So we're getting there. We're inching ever so closely. Can't wait. Let's talk a little bit about the Olympics here. Like I said, starting technically on Wednesday with the opening ceremonies at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Friday. So the 11 a.m. Mountain Time for the 2024 Paris Olympic opening ceremonies here. If you're in the Mountain Time Zone, 11 a.m. opening ceremonies, of course, taking place in Paris. So they'll be more closer to prime time there, but they will be pretty early in the morning here. Let's just kind of briefly run through what to expect from the Olympics this week, just getting things going. Obviously, you got 2 weeks of events here that take us well into August, so we're not going to get into everything, but I just want to maybe run you through now through about Saturday. First events are going to start taking place on Wednesday. That's going to be rugby and soccer kicking off on Wednesday. They're starting those preliminary rounds, round robin portion of those games start Wednesday, 2 days before the opening ceremonies. Thursday, handball and archery and shooting also kick in with soccer and rugby continuing. Archery, shooting, and what did I just say? Handball will be kicking off on Thursday, the day before the opening ceremonies. As for Friday, I do believe you have a couple of games for soccer and rugby. I believe 2 soccer and a rugby game on Friday, and then the day will conclude with the Olympic opening ceremonies and the torch being lit. That will conclude the Olympic day, and then heading into Saturday, we will actually get our first medal events on Saturday: cycling, diving, and fencing, judo, rugby, shooting, skateboarding, swimming will all have medal events starting on Saturday. So you'll be seeing gold medals being awarded as early as 5 days from now. The Olympics jumps right into it. I'm very much looking forward to it. I love the immediate drama of this. All right, opening ceremonies were last night. Hey, 1 day later, everything you've worked for, everything that you've put into this sport, into training, is on the line right here for a gold medal. Absolutely love it. So that is what to keep an eye out for this week as we lead up to the Olympics. Opening ceremonies on Friday, but the games technically start 2 days earlier. Rugby, archery, shooting, and soccer will all be in full swing before the opening ceremonies get going. I'm looking forward to the opening ceremonies because they're going to be a little bit different this year. For the first time in a long time, the opening ceremonies will not be taking place at a stadium or one of the venues that was built for the Olympics this year. No, they're going to take place right on the Seine River by boat. The opening ceremonies will be ending right in front of the Eiffel Tower, with the countries coming in by boat, coming down the Seine River with stadium seating, lining the entire thing with the ultimate kind of stage and not necessarily drop-off area, but the finishing line at the Eiffel Tower. All the boats will be pulling in. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a really cool visual. Again, it's normally the country's marching in. You got the flag and all of that. I think it's going to be cool. I talked about it on Friday. I love the fact that Paris is trying something different with a lot of what they're doing for these games. Having the opening ceremonies on the Seine River with the countries all on their own individual boats, I think is going to be an awesome visual. We talked about the fashion of a lot of the athletes last week, or excuse me, a lot of the countries coming in with their opening ceremony outfits that are going to be dialed up a level this year, given that we are in Paris, France. Fashion, it's no secret over there. But the U.S. did make the announcement, as voted on by all 592 U.S. Olympic athletes. LeBron James will be the country's flag bearer on that boat. It will be the first time that a men's U.S. basketball player is carrying the flag in the opening ceremonies. And it's going to be LeBron James. Seems to be fitting, likely his last games. He talked this, I believe it was this morning, said he was very humbled by it, to have it be something that was voted on. He said makes it that much more special, and to be able to just carry the country's flag in those opening ceremonies. He said it's something that he didn't think he'd get to do. And that's got to be a great honor to be able to check off the bucket list for sure, especially as someone who has accomplished as much as he has, to be able to be picked. We talked about this when Nathan McKinnon, recently won the Ted Lindsay Award as the NHL's most outstanding player as voted by the other players. He said, look, when you can be selected by your peers to do something like this, it makes it that much more special. Just the amount of respect that those other athletes have for you. And in a situation like this where everyone's there representing their country, to be tapped by other athletes, to be someone to carry the flag, I do think that's regardless of what you think of LeBron James, I think that's a pretty cool moment. And I think that's pretty exciting for him, his family, especially as, like I said, he nears what is likely his last Olympic Games. And I mean, look at that. Look at that. Who wouldn't want to be the flag bearer for an event like that? Whew. Looking forward to it, folks. I think it's going to be great. That's it. That's all I got for you to kick off Monday. We got 2 days till the Olympics get going, 4 days till the opening ceremonies start, and also on Friday, NFL training camps get underway. Also on Thursday, I'm going to see Deadpool and Wolverine. That's what I'm looking forward to this week more than anything else. Been super hyped for that one all summer. Finally, going to get to go see that on Thursday. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you here. We got John back there running the board this morning. Jay is out. We gave Jay a day off. He deserved a day off every now and then. John back there running the board, making sure everybody can see and hear what we're talking about here. But that's it. Monday morning, July 22nd. You guys have a great day. Have a great week. I'm Jesse Montano. This is Guerilla Sports Daily. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you tomorrow.